Hi, everyone. So, in class, we talked about the law of supply and how we determine how many of a product someone is willing to produce or to supply. For your asynchronous assignment, it asks you to start graphing different supply schedules and supply curves. So, this video is going to show you how to interpret the data that you have to create a supply curve on a graph. So, if we turn our attention to this example problem here, this is on Google Drawings. It gives us a nice key example of when we might be graphing supply on a curve. So, for example, this one is saying this is showing the number of students at a high school, so students like you, who are willing to work part-time around the school. So let's say that your principal needs help moving boxes to get the classrooms ready for hybrid learning. Let's say that's our example. So for the wage, this is how many students are willing to work. So for the hourly rate of $30 an hour, you get this many students who are willing to provide their labor. So if we're looking at the law of supply, it's not a product being supplied here, it's not a good, it's actually a service. So it's these students who are willing to work and put their own manual labor for that wage. So we know the law of supply states that as price goes up, supply is going to go up, right? The more that you're going to get paid for, the more students are going to be willing to actually work. So if we look up here for 30 bucks an hour, 1,300 are willing to work. For 25, it actually goes down a little bit. So following that law of supply, right? Only 1,400. Oh, sorry, this is 1,500. I saw that wrong, misspoke. But it goes down, right, to 1,440 if once you drop that price, $5 an hour. It goes down even further. And then once you're asking students to work for $3 an hour, they're like, nope, we're done. We're not going to work for that much. So that starts at 0. Well, how are we going to go ahead and translate that into a visual graph? The first thing you're going to do is you have these points here. And what you're supposed to do is drag them over onto the graph where it corresponds. So again, we have price on our y-axis and quantity on our x-axis. And in this example, price is the hourly wage, and the quantity is going to be the number of workers or students who are willing to work. So let's start up here. So we have for $30 an hour, so up here, we have 1,500 students who are willing to work. So what I'm going to do is come over here. I found $30 an hour, and I'm going to drag it over to about 1,500. That's going to be like right here, between 1,400 and 1,600. Right about there. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's about where that point would fall. So then we're going to continue on to the next one. So if we are at $25 an hour, we have 1,440 students willing to work. Probably put that around here. So again, it's lining up with the 25, and it's in the same ballpark of 1,440 over here. So you can see that you were already getting kind of a curve there if we connect those points. And then, of course, for our final few, it's actually 0. So we have the price at 3, right? So we're down here on the y-axis, but there's 0 workers who are willing to work for $3 an hour. So that's actually going to be right on that y-axis because there's no one. This is 0. And the same is true for $2 an hour and $1 an hour. I'm just going to put those all kind of in the same place as long as they are on the y-axis. That one's a little too far over. Great. Okay, so now you have all your points on the graph, and so our second step here is to actually go ahead and connect all of those dots together to show what our supply graph looks like. And as you can see, it's already kind of taking that shape of the supply curve, right? Supply goes through the eye, it goes up, whereas demand descends and goes down, supply is going up. So we can take our lines over here. And again, it's a little difficult to line them up perfectly all the time, so let your inner perfectionist just go, it's okay. And you're just going to play with these lines and make sure that you can kind of get them through the lines and show that general trend. So you are, again, just trying to connect all of these different points. And it's up to you how many you use. You just want to get this done. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit, and I will show you the finished product. All right, so now I'm at the point where I'm just finishing up my very last point, connecting that point for $3 to the point of $0. And again, that one's actually me vertical because it's the same value. It's both 0. And there we go. So now we have a finished curve. So hopefully that this video was able to show you how we take a supply schedule and look at these different data points and actually translate that to a graph. It's simple, just graphing, finding those points and connecting the lines. But now we have a beautiful supply curve, and that's really going to come in handy when we start comparing it to demand and finding that equilibrium price point. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped, and I will see you in class.